So really, if we go sort of in order of how you might use it, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to generate some demand by using the Enhanced Forecasting Worksheet. So with that, when we open it up, what it does gives us a very simple screen here that lets us filter down to specific records and give us a period and things like that. You can make more fields visible for the algorithms that it's using to forecast and a few other things like that. But this is kind of the key thing. And so what it allows me to do is come in here and set up filters. And by the way, even though it's a free tool, we allow extensibility on all of this. There's lots of events you can use if you want to filter on other criteria and things like that, if you want to do your own, customizations on it and those sorts of things. But in my case, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say I'm going to filter by, this item category code. And I can filter by specific location. So if you do want to forecast by location, you can do that as well. And I'm going to say, you know what? Give me a forecast for the next 3 months based on my last year and a half of history. Okay. Now, before I go on this, I'll just mention one other thing. We get this question a lot, which is, what if I don't have that history? What if I'm new to Business Central? I'm moving from GP or whatever. I don't have 18 months of history in here. Can I use this tool? Short answer is no. Long answer is you betcha, because what you can do is you can actually pull in that history from your past system very easily, right? So the typical approach to doing that is posting a bunch of journal entries and things like that. You don't have to do it. So with our import export power tool, we have a video on YouTube, and you can go search for that, or maybe I'll put a link to that in here in a bit. But that sort of shows you how you can import 18 months of history very quickly and easily, right? Without screwing up on your GL or any of that kind of stuff. So if you don't have that history, it's very easy to import if it's in an older system or something like that. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to say 3 months forecast based on my last 18 months of history. Then I'm going to hit calculate forecast. And when I do, it's going to say, hey, I only found 15 months of history. Do you want to use that instead of 18? Well, I say yes, because there's no point in forecasting 3 empty months of history. So I'm going to say yes. And then what it does when I did that, it's going out, it's taking all that historical data that we've specified here based on our filters, and it's sending it to the Microsoft forecasting model, the Azure AI forecasting model. So Microsoft has a forecasting API. All we're doing is taking that history, sending it off to the forecast API. It's crunching the numbers, and it's sending these results back. So there's a few results. There's a confidence level. You can, again, hide or show whatever field you want through personalization, of course. But there's a few fields that sometimes people want to see. Opening up here. There we go. So, all of these different things, the deltas and the algorithm that was used, all those types of things that you can put in here to see how it, sort of, or some additional information beyond just the forecast value. So this predicted value, that is our forecast value. It's saying, hey, for this period here, and I'm going back a year, for this month, we expect you to sell a lot. And for the next month, we expect you to sell 7, and the following month is 7, and so on and so forth. So it's gone in and it's calculated out these forecasts using your historical data. And then the question that we usually get at this point is, okay, well, many questions are, what if there's spikes in the data? What if there's this? What if there's that? So, how does it actually do that forecast? Well, again, what it's doing is it's using that Microsoft Azure AI model to do the forecasting, right? So there's a forecasting API. If you need any information on that, what there is, I'm just going to jump over here into this other screen. In the Microsoft documentation for Business Central, if you look up the forecasting API, it'll give you the details of how it does it, right? So this is how it forecasts. We don't really have any control of what it's doing behind the scenes other than what's documented here. So we're taking the data out of Business Central, we're sending it in. You can set things like you can select the algorithm you're using and things like that. We're sending on all the data. It's using this information that you can read on this page to do that forecast and sending the results back to Business Central. Once they're back in Business Central, you can do anything you like with it. And one of the things that you might want to do with this predicted value Maybe you don't want to use a forecast to drive your purchase requirements and things like that. Maybe you want to use this to help set your planning parameters. So you'll see here we've got safety stock, reorder point, maximum inventory, reorder quantity. And we've got some calculated values here. Well, how did it come up with these numbers based on this forecast I set here? Well, this is a formula that you can enter yourself to calculate these reorder points. So what that allows us to do is instead of using the forecasted value, we can use that forecast to determine what our reorder point should be. So you might say, hey, I want to do a quarterly forecast, for the next quarter. And based on that, I want to set my reorder points and maximum quantities for the next, 3 months based on that forecast, or the next year, or whatever you want to do, right? So you've got a choice of periods that you can use there. And then instead of updating the demand forecast, we can update that item planning instead. Okay, so what do those formulas look like? Let's just show you real quick what they look like. So we're going in the enhanced forecast setup here. And this is where you can enter those formulas. So these formulas can be almost anything you can put in Excel. So you can have if statements in there, you can have whatever you like to do these calculations, rounding, round up, round down, all of those kinds of things. And each of these things in here is a variable, right? So we've got our average daily forecast. So my reorder point says, hey, I'm going to take, my average daily forecast. So I did a monthly forecast, and I'm going to multiply it by, my lead time dates. So this is a reasonable formula for your reorder point. I'm going to stock as much as I need before I have to order more, right? So, but again, you can create whatever formulas you like. And these are the variables that you have available in these formulas. So the daily usage, daily forecast, lead time, all of those sorts of things you can use to generate this. Now, the other tool I mentioned earlier, the item planning review, which is part of the enhanced planning pack, also has the ability to have formulas like that you have almost everything on the item card or stock keeping unit card to use as a variable to help calculate these values. But all right, in the enhanced forecasting, I can use my forecast, my predicted sales amount, to determine my reorder point and my maximum inventory and all those sorts of things. Okay? And I can even create, forecasts where it had the predicted value. I can modify that with my own formulas as well. I can apply 10%, extra to that, or whatever I want to do in here. All right. So with that set up, again, we've got our items and our locations. You can forecast location by location. If I leave this blank, it'll forecast all my locations. For this item category, I only have history in my main location, but you can forecast per location or all locations simultaneously. We get our results back. We get our forecasted value. We get our calculated things. And the next thing I'd probably want to do is say, update my demand forecast. And here I can just choose one of the forecasts I want to use to get updated. And this is the standard Business Central demand forecast, which will now get populated with a new forecast that I just put in. I didn't say update yet. I'm just showing you the standard demand forecast here. As soon as my Business Central wakes up. But the key point here is it's coming in and it's updating the standard demand forecast, which means that when I run MRP or anything else, all of that information from the forecast worksheet is just naturally going to be available to anything else in Business Central. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do. You can just go in, update demand forecast. It'll push all of these numbers into the forecast, and then you use that forecast when you're doing your planning. The other option is doing the update item planning, and it's going to go in and update the item card or the stock keeping unit with these new calculated values that we have here for these items. Okay, and you can also export that to Excel, manipulate it, do whatever the heck you want with it, and then pull it in with the import export power tool or rapid start or whatever you want to do there. All right, so that's the basics of the enhanced forecasting worksheet. It is a very simple tool. We get questions like, hey, how do I, put, an SLA in place in here, or, fulfillment levels, all those sorts of things. It doesn't do any of that. What it's doing is it's taking your historical sales data, we're simply pushing it out to that forecast API. It's crunching the numbers and giving us should be a reasonable forecast going forward that you can then push to the demand forecast and manipulate in Excel or, right within Business Central to actually, tidy it up to get it to where you want it to be. All right. Now, quick note on, if you want to try that enhanced forecasting worksheet, if you want the free version, the way you install it, and this applies to both the enhanced planning worksheet and the enhanced forecasting worksheet, is you go to AppSource, right? So you go into AppSource, and if you search for it and you come to sort of the main page, right, the enhanced forecasting worksheet here in AppSource, it'll have a buy now button. Don't use that. I mean, you can, but it'll ask you for a credit card and everything else. If you do that and it asks you for the credit card, you can just say don't turn on recurring billing and you won't get billed for it. But this doesn't actually install anything. This just takes your credit card details. What you want to do to install this is one of, I guess, three things. First is down here. There's this install now button or link, and that will actually install the application into your Business Central environment, and you can use it. And again, it's free. It'll pop up and say, hey, who do you want to allocate as the free user? You set that and you're good to go. Okay, so that's one option. The other option is if you're in the search results, right? So if I searched for enhanced forecasting worksheet here, and I got forecast worksheet, planning worksheet, and planning pack, I can hit install from here. That's usually, the easier way to do it. You search for it instead of actually opening up the details, just hit install. It'll install it and you're good to go, right? So both of those you can install individually and use them. The third option is installing the enhanced planning pack. So the enhanced planning pack is subscription, but you do get a 30-day free trial. Once that free trial expires, you won't be able to use any of the other components within enhanced planning pack, but these two will still be available to you to use for free. So those are basically your three options. Install these guys individually, install enhanced planning pack, or right from the details page, hit that install now, and away you go. I guess you can also do it from our website. If you go to our website and look up, planningfordynamics.com, or just our main website, it'll also have that install now link you can use to install directly into Business Central. Okay. So that's a little bit of information on the enhanced forecasting worksheet. Very simple to set up, very simple to use.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more great content and remember to hit that bell icon to stay updated. See you in the next video.